this beast. So I've commandeered this from where is it? Slideshow. From Dr. Mark Holmes, and just added a couple of bits in. So let's go. So Capgemini's 2018 report on immersive technology states that 3 or 4 companies, large-scale VR, AR implementations, test having operational benefits over 10%. Now, Capgemini is pretty good website actually for reports. So this could be useful for you know, your dissertation stuff as well, or any other reports. Hi, Jim. Or even for your empathy one, when you need to do that report, any reports really, go into the insight section and you can do a bit of a search. So I had a little poke around earlier, talk about total immersion in VR. You can download these funky infographics. You know, all kinds of good stuff in there. So that's a really good link. That's going to be available.
Free.
Sorry?
Is it free?
It is free, yeah. Free is good. So yeah, check out that link when you have chance. So productivity tools for employees, fast, accessible sensor databases for analytics, visualizations for architecture, 3D scans for measuring stockpiles, simulations of processes. So all of these tools help improve productivity for employees. So if you were to able to say you worked in Tesco's and you didn't know, you know, how many cereal boxes you needed to restock, you could do a quick 3D scan. You know what the full volume would be. You could take a scan, get what the current volume would be, and then your system would figure that out for you. Obviously, sensor any databases, lets you know what's been taken out, what's going in, all kinds of things like that. So what this is talked about is basically the further along through a project you are, the harder it is to make changes and to go back. So you might have found that in the apps that you've done already, particularly the group ones, where you maybe got to the end or quite near the end and suddenly you had a really good idea that you wanted to implement. But because things have just been built up already, actually making that one small change later on is much, much harder than it would have been if you put it in at the beginning. So this is what this funky little rocket firework diagram is showing here. Cost, risk, and duration of making this change increases dramatically as you move further on the project. So, you know, conceptual design, detailed design, build, test, and when you're live, making big changes is very risky, takes a lot of time, and costs a lot of money. So just before that starts, this is a video from Bell Helicopters. So what they're discussing, what they're going to discuss in a minute is how they've implemented virtual reality into the designing of their helicopters. So I'll let them speak for themselves. So.
The SPX-1 was our first concept aircraft, and a peek inside our innovation team's effort. SPX-1 points the way for our future. A focus on innovative solutions and technology. Being a pioneer in the aircraft industry is in our DNA.
Helicopters.
Using virtual reality as a design tool is sort of a aha moment. What if we put it in a room with engineering behind it and let him draw on the 3D model and use that to go to the next stage of development and make some real-time decisions? this type of process is actually working really well, because now we can sit in a 3D model, and so that allows us to in real time have the ability to say that's too far, or I don't have enough visibility through this part of the window, so we can drag lines and move things. And it's a dynamic shift that happens on the fly.
When we do VR design studies, it costs us a lot of money to mock up a part in real life. We'd rather just do lots of iterations on it inside VR and then decide where we want to go, then cut metal after that or cut tools after that.
We have a holistic experience now, and that helps us drive their designs forward and makes them come to us faster.
Cool. So what they're basically saying there is this graph, this firework, can be changed through the use of VR and advancing technologies, because we're able to go through and redo this conceptual design phase and testing and building very, very quickly and with very, very little cost in virtual reality. So as you were saying, you know, you can put the pilot in the virtual space, you realize it's something you can't see at its peripheral, so they can make that adjustment very quickly. Whereas before they would have had to have built a prototype, and it wasn't until they actually got in the air or, you know, went through full testing that they realized these errors or these oversights. So that's sort of the tie-in there. So as it said in the video, they were able to bring down the development time for a helicopter from 5 to 7 years to 6 months, which is pretty crazy. Just imagine the amount of money that they save by doing it in that way. Not that I've ever seen one of those in the air, but it is a concept one, so it was just a demonstration. So other people, the companies, the French National Space Centre, are using VR instead of their CAD software, and it helps reduce their project duration by 25%. So let's have a quick look at what they're saying. It would be in French, wouldn't it? So let's translate that. So this is quite a funky little video. There's going to be a few videos in this one, so not too much of me gabbing on. Does it actually say, oh, more epic music? Let's turn that down a bit. Sure, there was a bit where it showed. Yeah, so instead of doing it all in CAD, they're doing it in virtual reality, some of these models. Preparation du futur. Oh, there he is, look. Yeah. So he's in VR. Innovation. Cool. So the scale of the French National Space Centre, it's a pretty big organization to be implementing virtual reality into their design. And some of these examples are actually quite old now. See if we'll find a date on this one. A lot of these reports are, you know, 2016, 2017, 2018. So we've moved, you know, think of how far we've moved on in 5 years. So we'll return to this one. Saffron Lascelles earned a €300,000 return on investment for a single VR system. Were able to reduce their deployment and development time by, what's that, an amount, 8 months ahead. So let's have a quick look at what they were doing. This one didn't have a video. No video, sorry. Thought there was a video. Yeah, it should have done. So NVIDIA, graphics card maker. In all your laptops, you have one of their cards. Well, your uni ones anyway. They're not the only company that make graphic cards. So that fully integrating VR technologies has seen a 65% reduction in the number of design issues that they have. Obviously saving a lot of money. Let's see. Oh, I think NVIDIA have got, no, that's the controllers they're on. So let's skip. Lockheed Martin, another defense company, much like Bell, implementing VR and other technologies, allowing to save millions of dollars per year. So let's see what their laboratory looks like. So what they're using in this video here is called the Cave, which is quite an old VR tech now, and it's extremely expensive, and it's very, very big. But let's see if they do some demos in this video, what it looks like. So with these glasses on that they're wearing in the background and looking busy, they're able to sort of view these objects three-dimensionally. So this is what they're doing. There's their factory space. You know, a real-world example of what we're going to be looking at shortly.
So this is pretty much some normal moving after, and I didn't point that out. What are they doing? Sorry?
What are they doing? Well, this is being projected on that screen along the back. Yeah, and then much like a 3D film or something, I think that's how it's viewed, to actually make it pop out.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see that.
But yeah, like I said, it's quite old, the Cave now. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not gonna find. It's just going to show me a game called The Cave. So this is some pretty good examples of it being implemented with car companies. Much the same as before. It helps to reduce prototype time, testing, saving money, less physical prototypes because they're able to do it all in VR. So SEAT's one. Cool, right? Yeah. No, it is pretty cool. I thought there was another bit of page there. Did it just go straight to you? So yeah, they discuss how they implemented it in their processes in much more depth on their website, and yeah, some pretty interesting stuff. So I guess what this module really kind of helps to try and explain is that there are many more implementations of virtual reality and augmented reality than just games or education or training. And you know, if you want to focus more on an engineering aspect, it's there. The jobs are there. people are doing it and have been for a while. So just be conscious of that.
You use it in Formula One?
I suspect they.
You use it?
I suspect so. Yeah, I suspect so.
Yeah.
Ford, what they're doing. Again, helping with the design process. And I managed to dig out their video. Aha, yeah, there's one. So does that look familiar?
Oh, yeah.
That's Tilt Brush, which is what Open Brush was before Google decided to just stop playing with it. And it does kind of look like a car. I can't believe that they're actually going to use that for the basis of a real design, but it's part of an early sketching process, I'm sure, is why they've implemented that. But what they've done as well, which is pretty cool, is again pretty old now. This video is on the go, but you could try it out on your headset because it's a 360 video. Virtual reality test drive.
Greetings and welcome to the 4 years of Wildside virtual reality test drive to help get you cognitive with to your left and to your right. Now, slide forward with music and try surround. This will help you bring you to start the journey in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, bloody motorbike. Driving. Oh, what a dick. Oh no. So getting flipped off and then crashing into the back of an orange lorry. I don't know. So this is useful in like quite a number of ways. It's useful for the driver because it can help you, help teach you to be more conscious of what's going on around you, but it also helps Ford because through sort of eye tracking, body position, head tracking, and putting people through these scenarios, they know what kind of other safety features they should add to their vehicles. Yeah, so I don't know if any of you drive, but if you sort of look behind you as you're driving, you tend to like drive the way you're looking. So if you look over your right shoulder, tend to lean a bit right, and equally on the left. So maybe they might implement a sensor that detects that and puts a warning bleep or something. But they're able to test that safely in virtual reality, is the point. So design tools. So this might start looking familiar to James, but angling water saved, this much in construction and rework costs through cooking everything up in CAD and then exploring it in virtual reality. So they're able to, redevelop a whole site in CAD and explore it in VR to make sure that it was working correctly. This was done with this Prospect app, which is specifically for civil engineering, I guess that is. I don't really know. Whereas they'd usually done it in Unity or Unreal. They worked with this Prospect company who was saving the money. I think it's quite expensive. Yeah, well, it's probably a bit much. But that would be if you're, if that's what you did for a living, that might actually save you money in the long run. If you're a designer for civil. And then Ford using Gravity Sketch. Have any of you played with Gravity Sketch? No. Yeah, Pete uses it a lot in his engineering course. But let's just see how Ford have been using it in their design process. So it allows them to design sort of a car in VR. See a little video there. No.
What did I determine that because it's a 3D tool. It's a VR tool that allows you to create and you can see when you use it to create beautiful design, beautiful stars, mobility systems. One of the benefits of designing in VR in terms of 3D centric and customer-centric design is at a moment where we realize we can get ourselves into the mind and the body of our virtual body of our customers. So placing ourselves in VR to spark to itself and put it down with virtual reality. And because we're operating on the team scale, and we're designing it, it's a beautiful one-to-one. So everything we created is exactly where it ought to be, or it should be, or it can be. As we go forward into the design for mobility solutions, it becomes really key to be able to prototype experiences that our customers can have. And it's not just how you get it, how the vehicle interfaces with its environment, the city of the future. And it's really why the scale-free nature of VR, you can play with the world, allow it to speak to you in your design.
So it's like professional level Gravity Sketch, professional level open brush kind of stuff. So yeah, we could have a play around with that maybe on Wednesday if people want to. Archeo is a pretty cool one. Yeah, so you might have already seen this one, but allows you to quickly and easily do these spaces and design in groups. Change scales, change your scale, move things back. I think we've just got some licenses for that, some pro level licenses. Yeah, that kind of thing. It needs something, doesn't it? We've not got anything here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, good. Right, so this is a very cool app when we're talking about data visualization. So this one, Siglass, they actually spoke to us a couple of years ago about the work that they do. Well, I'll let the video speak for itself a minute. Well, that didn't really explain a lot. I explained nothing. But basically, Siglass takes CT scan data, which CT scan just takes layers of photos. So you might have seen that on skulls when they do CT scan of the brain, and they see like these intersections of the brain. But they're able to put that together into a 3D model, which you can then view in VR. So got a pretty interesting website where they talk a lot more about what they're doing currently. A few more examples, and I think it's come a long way since that video. But the really cool thing is that they've actually got a free version of the app. And I believe it comes with some CT data in there that you can visualize, so you don't have to have your own scans. But it does need to go through Steam, so you need to have your connection up. But it's pretty cool.
We have the side asset here and
Oh, really?
Stuff that was down again.
Oh, cool.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Well, the talk that they gave will be in one of the modules that are released later on today, so you can, you know, if you want to know more about it. But it's really interesting. It's really cool stuff. Really pushing the boundaries there. So that's data visualization, one way of visualizing some data. This one, I think it's not a great name, but what they're doing is pretty interesting. Apparently not, no.
Time consuming and field work is expensive. People who are outdated and struggle to pack it. PPB-67, a revolutionary new product that flex models and visualizes digital signal data using content and develop. Sample, help, difference automatic, in real time at the walk. We immediately generate contextually accurate signal saves time and money while increasing accuracy and potency. All it takes is a headset.
Built in partnership, naturally, position. Reach out to us.
Okay.
And you don't, not fun.
Go. What do we do? So some of the things that they do, obviously telecom stuff, and they're moving into cybersecurity. Be amazed to see how they display cybersecurity data visually in VR or AR. I don't know what that would look like, but I wonder how long it's been coming soon.
Traffic on the network
What?
Traffic on the network, so if you go in a switch team, you'll see like going through maybe different lines and different traffic, different packets, because you follow them through.
Oh, I see where it goes. Sounds pretty sweet. Don't know if any of you remember this from a couple of years. Well, actually, I think we do it every year now. But Reddit did these big place images.
I'll do it. 175. It was kind of interesting where we what I'm wanting. I don't know if that's the they also love everything comments on code. They haven't made this work in live by the doing the German society is pretty fun. Right by and site to the it's fine to see this whole thing that played out in there, but if you also revision and put them on for example, a nice particular part of the top long after the part of the floor. The NPR is looking at this color, or the realm, and this particular part is limited. Right, the initially I realized and all the way back to the beginning. This part is the first part. You need to respond around all the other parts of the problem. If they wanted this complicated the free data is full of the story. What's someone find on you? They even though having several other things on the other part. People see along the people also see the light this now, about this process now. I put this work for these things a lot.
Already most of the people have put the project in out there on YouTube. My career has been a lot of people study the funding. I'm on slide projects. And it's all come together in my mind. On a new international model, if we can visualize the best of the work, if we also remember now that we have I genuinely believe
Cool.
So the most recent one of that Canadian flag, Canadians spent the entire time trying to draw the maple leaf and just couldn't do it. They couldn't get the maple leaf right.
Correct.
So Leeds doing
So this GitHub is up to date, well, 10 months, 5 months, sorry, on the README, but got the data from 2022. So if you want to play around with it, there's the Unity project. So yeah, might as well have a look. Oh, I've got some releases. Desktop build is 2021. Doesn't require head mounted display. It's cool. So yeah, data visualization. Thinking outside the box. Sharing knowledge. Does anyone know what the bus factor means? What it refers to? No. Anyone want to guess? Anyone figure it out from that picture? So Bob's been hit by a bus, so now we've got to cancel all his projects. Alrighty. So the simple explanation is what is the minimum number of people that, if absent, would prevent work from continuing? So on any project, there'll be people who've got specific skills that if they were hit by a bus, the project would stop dead, right? So you might have found that on your other projects, if you're waiting for somebody else to do, I don't know, the landscape or whatever it is, waiting for a script to be done before you could complete your next piece, then you have a bus factor. Yep. So it's better to have a higher bus factor than not. And yeah, and also to sort of share skills and information. One person holds all the information, then or holds all the plans, then it stops other people from being able to move forwards. So this is one way that you could share that data, is through augmented reality. So, you know, instead of one person being able to read the plans or know where the pipes are, you know, in AR, anyone is able to tell that information. I think this is a HoloLens one, I'm not sure. This is a phone one, is it? Yeah, so that's sort of a meeting in VR, where they're discussing the design of the design of something. I think I tried to find what. Where's my presentation gone? Okay. There we go. Yeah, this, I think this is a dead link now, which isn't a good sign for this company. But 3D representations of the sort of the model, and they're all able to sit around and discuss. Now, similar things like this exist, which we've already sort of used. You know, like the horizons of this world. And what's your one called, Anthony? The spatial, you know. This is just sort of spatial with, you know, an extra layer of, you know, this engineering design capability. So communication is a bottleneck for the projects. One law is Brooks Law, which says adding human resources to a late software project makes it later. Effectively, as you're going through a project, you have to then train people up on how to contribute to the project, take the time away from contributing to the project. Yeah, so actually it's best to start with the right number of people and not try and throw resources at it later on, because actually that just slows everything down, is the principle of Brooks Law. Remote engineering. So this is some more pretty cool things in here. Oh, this has been handy the other day, Ted.
What happened? Yeah, I think
Stuck in that lift for like 2 hours on Friday.
Makes the job more safe, but it's more fun, more. It's another way that developers do about respectful service technician using very different kind of ways. So as soon as the solution to my power lines, we already see I have a call here, and we go to the elevator, and that actually sees the picture of the elevator that we work from, and then continue into the car, but go up the walls, so finally up into the wall. Most of the jobs are big, probably better to get another chaos, because that's a lot of the data that is improving in the best form possible, and then the life will place upon tailor the data to what is needed. Communication putting on a power line, looking at the elevator, seems to be strong amongst first, so a lot of stuff we haven't really elevated before, you already has all the information right there without having to look for it. It saves a lot of time and a lot of stress and effort. Get information on the versus that's what the hospital that you have to carry out, the safety alerts for the elevator. Hold on at TV or taking a car, pulls it out in the view, and then you see which car is in the column. A major advantage is the way that the post of the hands free, and we never actually do it and just using the pillar. Because it's mentioned, we need both the hands to operate without software, and now all around. One of the most important capabilities is we can trigger and we may fall to something else. All of it.
Yeah, I will.
I'm a replacement driver out here, but kind of looking to check something out.
Okay, let me take a look. This is really not different, and the motor is different. So you're good to go.
It's a lot of stress on, it's really hard. Well, people that don't have like a useful sense of productivity. The job is normally takes 1 to 2 hours and maybe ends up with maybe a frustrating side. You were able to carry it out on first time and less than 20 minutes. What we are trying to do, I think, is that really creating new interesting capabilities. Makes sense, doesn't it? But like you never really see anybody, and you know, what people do using them before. I've never seen anyone wearing after I like a building site outside and they still use those rudimentary techniques to do the landscaping and like geophase where they put the stick in the ground and like go across the wave, and you'd imagine it'd be really good for all that stuff. But I never really see anybody on my travels using. Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
I think basically it doesn't really meet expectations. Like that video isn't actually a true representation of what it looks like or what it does. It's a promo video, yeah. And some guy in After Effects has made this video. Doesn't really look like that. And also I think the field of view on it is pretty tight, especially when this was made on the HoloLens 1. It definitely wasn't.
Nowhere near that.
Yeah, and it doesn't look that good with that. Yeah. And as James said, it's extremely expensive. I was thinking, I had an example which I couldn't find annoyingly, of AR being implemented on building site builders in Dubai, and but they had like the time scale and where the project should be, you know, which pillar should be built, which wall should be up, which wiring or light should be installed. So they're able to go around, and wherever something wasn't, it would be like a red marker. It would point out to the building surveyor or, you know, the site manager who should have been responsible for doing that. So it was a really great tool for them. But that's when they're getting a skyscraper up in, 3 months or something. And they've got just money that they can put it in. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Yeah, no, not go back to the beginning. Yeah, there it is. Look. Oh, it didn't even wave back.
It was rough like spot the robot dog walking by. Showing its true intentions. It's going on a second.
You do like dangerous welding jobs using that, couldn't you? That could be controlling the welding thing, and then that you could be using it to
Yeah.
I do see well. Crazy, that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the also kind of thing that they use for like bomb disposal. Bomb disposal robots have probably come a long way, and search and rescue type things where it's just not safe for people to go. But yeah, that's just a bit of a more family friendly version of that. So this one might look familiar. 360 cameras for telepresence. Welcome to the meeting owl.
What you are about to witness is a typical team meeting with a meeting owl. Meet Jane, he's ready.
We don't really need to watch this, but it's kind
We're familiar.
of you're fairly familiar.
How expensive are they actually? Otherwise, we won't bring.
Quite a lot with it, guys.
Whoa.
So the meeting owl is cute. So this one, anyone who's watched Big Bang Theory will know what this is. Nobody watched Big Bang Theory?
I think I've seen it from.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched.
Yeah. It's just an iPad on an remote control car, basically. Yeah. Yeah, you drive it around the area.
What is this company for?
Let's have a look.
We tried to buy it, but
Tried to buy one, really.
Really?
they wouldn't, they wouldn't sign to say they would be GDPR compliant. All their stuff was installed in cloud and things.
Oh, right, yeah.
Double, if the setup to start, there's like square and double.
Yeah.
Double.
Just the people that were there, I was thinking.
Yeah, so all of these tools could help to remove or improve your bus factor, is the point, I think. You know, that's what sort of coming full circle background. So all of these virtual or augmented reality technologies could help improve your bus factor. You know, if you had, say, your telepresence robot man, and you know you weren't able to get out on site because site was 800 miles away, like much like you said, deep sea mining or anything like that, you could massively improve your bus factor if you could have somebody doing it remotely. And when I say you, I mean business, of course. This one I don't, you know, I just
Double robotics.
don't know why. I just don't really see, unless it would be like a weird kind of stalky thing,
Might be like.
you know, just
Like
checking.
your boss comes up here.
Exactly,
on
just
the screen.
Quiet silent mode, sneaks it behind. But yeah,
This goes in your book.
this is more about the,
Let's just see what other books.
so here we are. Here's more about the cave. Old, expensive, still exists, and there's lots of great research. But let's see. So cave automatic virtual environment uses projectors. Is that not a link? It's not a link. Let's have a little bit more. Have a look. Find a better video. So this reminds me of what they call the wall, what they did a lot of the Mandalorian filming on. It's not the same, but it reminds me of it, where it's just projections.
C'est un dispositif d'immersion en réalité virtuelle.
I've seen something like that.
So there we are. There's a bit more on the cave. It's pretty cool, right? What else have we got? So got the light box, which is over there. We've got a light box machine thing, which we need to set up this week for something else. So at some stage this week, we'll get that on and demonstrating something, because we need to do it anyway. Let's see if there's.
successor to the TV, so kind of like so how do you around here? They're kind of where it is right now, but you have to make it but never happens to get up to use they kind of like TV box. So they kind of used to the showing TV model. More effective buttons, but I remember you find primarily this space that they can do the kind of get interaction with the general public. Because they get a video back about that. We have the music videos, allows us to have the benefits we have from the headset, but you can type in the video effects, not actually having the headset on, is that finding that value.
So yeah, like I said, 3D in a box basically. Just load in your model and it just sits there, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so AR 6 degrees of freedom, runs on mobile phones, dedicated hardware, HoloLens, Magic Leap. Good again, video. Okay, so this example was made by someone in the uni, this professor. Now, was anyone a chemist here? I can't remember what everyone did for their undergrad now. I know we had some in the past, but this mad molecule, I think it's an alloy molecule, is basically really hard to visualize in a 2D way. So he made an AR app so that it could help him and others visualize what it looks like in the 3D space. Equally, this one with the landing gear. So this was made to help plan for when they were going to move the landing gear into the central building. So they just needed to, through AR, were able to ascertain like which bit of wall needs to come out, how high it was going to go, what it was going to look like, and help them plan for the project of getting it in there. Yeah, so that's pretty handy. But yeah, those are both Swansea Uni projects, and not really sure if they're around anywhere. Are they around anywhere? Yeah, it's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, the other one's on the phone.
Oh, we got that on the phone. So yeah. It's probably that picture. Yeah. Okay, but again, these are quite old. I mean, that landing gear has been in there for a number of years now. So things have come a long way, which brings us on to Moore's Law. Anyone know what it is? I know I've just put it up there, but well, yeah, every I think it was 18 months, but that has slowed now to like every 2 years. But yeah, as you can see, transistor count per chip, and then years of introduction. So things have been increasing, more and more powerful in a smaller space or the same size space. So yeah, we're talking about our polygon counts there. We're reasonably familiar with them because we're conscious of them in VR. So in another 2 years, in theory, according to Moore's Law, we should be able to have double the polygon count in the next version of the Quest. At least, because it's probably been about 3, maybe 4 years since between those two versions.
That's also 2016, right? Mobile VR was actually the Quest was more than 70.
Yeah, it's just an old graph. Yeah, I think it's more than that. It's like 1 million, I think.
Oh yeah, so 1.2.
So that desktop VR was approximately 1 million, which we can now have in a standalone. And a desktop one would be like 7, 8, 9 million. So let's talk a bit. It's the hype cycle. So this graph sort of indicates indicates people's interest. So it's expectations there. And then the amount of time. So this set of events. So the innovation trigger is when something has just come out and it starts to gain some traction in the media, say, or, you know, within institutions. Once it comes out, people start having these inflated ideas of what the technology could possibly do, which are usually unrealistic at that stage in a product's life cycle. And then once people start to realize that, it falls into the trough of disillusionment. But then slowly it does start to become some of those things that people thought it could become in inflated expectations. So we have the slope of enlightenment as it does begin to catch up. And then the plateau of productivity is when it becomes whatever it was going to be. So on this graph here, we've got virtual reality at this stage in 2017 was on the slope of enlightenment. So people had all these crazy ideas about what it was going to be in the past. They realized that it was never going to be those things, but slowly we're slowly we're coming to where it actually is going to be. So at this stage in 2017, augmented reality was quite low. It was just getting to its lowest point. I believe shortly after this graph was Pokemon Go. So we slowly started to become what it could be. There are all kinds of other things on here. It's quite interesting graph, and it's proper stuff. So quantum computing, people are still figuring out what the expectations are for quantum computing, augmented data, smart robots, virtual assistants. And then we can move on because there's a few more of these. So augmented reality still in the ditch there in 2018, but virtual reality has moved off. Virtual reality is now in its plateau. Mixed reality is coming down hard in 2018, coming down hard. But we're probably coming to where it's going to be with the Quest Pro. Automated driving is on the up there, so people expect it to be amazing. But just today, I read that Tesla had to recall like 400,000 cars in the States for self-driving issues. So still working on that.
Yeah. But like the brake issue. Sometimes I like seeing a slam on the brakes.
I think it's be so bloody lazy. Just drive. It's not hard to just drive yourself. Anyway. So yeah, there's autonomous driving. It's in 2019, it's falling down into its trough. Augmented reality is plateaued now. And so on, 2020, 2020. So these are quite interesting graphs. Help you ascertain where your tech's at. Immersive workspaces. Sounds like metaverse kind of jargon, that doesn't it? Okay, so Industry 4.0. What is it? Question. Industry 4.0 is sort of the ultimate automation of the factory process. So Steam created a 4.0 factory for their controllers, and we're going to watch the video of that process now. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I have one of the Steam controller. I have one of those. Very good.
That's a Steam Deck, right?
This is the one that, this is like. Instead of. I think how that would
So that is a very grander scale of what we've got downstairs. Except ours doesn't make controllers, it makes phones, sort of fake phones.
Real phones.
Yeah,
One iPhone.
it just puts two plastic pieces together. Actually. So there are a large number of modules that have been taken from EG 3066, which is a whole course on Factory 4.0, which will release for reference reading on the on Canvas. You won't be quizzed on it, but if it's something that you want to learn more about, that will be up there for you. Some of it might be useful for you, your end of module report that you need to write. But yeah, effectively it's talking about improving manufacturing. What's to say? Industrial digital technologies, drive productivity in UK manufacturing, including increased labour and resource productivity, increased asset utilisation, reduced maintenance costs, reduced inventory, reduced cost of quality, basically general improvement. Cyber physical factories or systems are integration of physical and computational processes, monitored by computer-based algorithms and tightly integrated with the internet and its users. So you'll see shortly how we're able to utilize this and incorporate AR as well. So we'll be able to control the factory machine remotely via an internet connection, in theory, using previous applications, apps from last year and the year before. So this is our one. Get big again. Oh, I told you to hide. Sure.
But how do you gain all the skills needed? The CP Lab contact Industry 4.0 learning system customer that it includes all the technology components needed for communicating in-depth knowledge of Industry 4.0. Scale down that model. Real world But the only one with really when we get to the doctor, they don't want to do anything, but they think it's what to do and how it goes with the hands-on, then we bring that aha moment.
This compact industry 4.0 learning system grows your requirements. So you can start with a core-based station system that already addresses competencies around advanced PLCs, human machine interface, manufacturing execution systems, and even cybersecurity. QR codes and RFID technologies embedded in our cyber-physical system, enabling to add competencies based off of local industry needs. Additional modules can be added to a 6, 8, or even a 10-station production line. Invest in innovation that accumulated not only for students, but also for the local funding. That way, students and workers, same experiences.
How much did it cost? Triple free. No.
Yeah, so you remember that bit near the beginning when it said you can take it apart? Yeah, don't. Don't do that.
We can do that.
So they don't.
Just putting it back again.
Yeah, well, yeah. Festo's flying robots. Oh, really?
Oh.
And I can get the directions from the radar over 360 degrees. The rest are 8 tentacles. The tentacles I would be applied very up and down. We have replicate lightweight constructions about 900 administrative grams, including the battery and all the motors. I implied the activity with a very small battery over 2.5 hours, 3 hours. That's the idea from the activity to show the people the energy efficiency of the movement. I think they do the movement of very efficiency. Like here, for example, you get more
That's mad. Don't remember this one. So that's pretty cool. Oh, game for automation. I'll save that. Wow. How long is the video? 2 minutes. Basically, this allows us to communicate between the Festo machine and Unity. And gives you some basic prefabs for doing a digital twin, which wasn't actually mentioned in this presentation, thinking about it. Anyone know what a digital twin is? Nope. Nope.
Something
It's close, but it's not right. Digital twin, I don't know how that wasn't in there anyway. Digital twin is where an exact replica of something, the factory or a city or the university is made in a virtual space. More than that, the real world activities are also replicated in the virtual space. So see if I can find a good example. See this.
The individual part of the project exceeded was a false form. Doesn't exist yet. Siemens Mobility's digital twin gives designers, engineers, and decision makers that power. The digital twin is the exact digital replica of the design intended for our physical environment. A digital twin saves you time and budget and decreases financial risk, technical risk, and product risk. Siemens Mobility is applying digital twin, and we'd like to show you what that means. Practices known as building information modeling are used to map information about structures in 3D, reflecting design and engineering choices in the digital space. A digital twin takes this idea a significant step further. The degree of realism in the digital twin offers new possibilities to simulate, validate, and experiment. The power of the digital twin doesn't end after delivery. In a digital version of a tunnel in operation, for example, experience a dramatic chain collision with all escalation levels involved, from first-person rescuer perspective to lifelike data and camera feeds for command and control. Reverse the scenario to anticipate an actual event. You could run simulations with staffing experts or any kind of structure to keep contingency plans up to date and procedures top of mind.
Yeah, digital twin. So actually, a lot of the things that we looked at the beginning when we were talking about the design phase, you could say based on their definition is digital twin. So the helicopter, anything, any of those other ones that we saw, a lot of the AR stuff, I suppose, would have been as well, digital twins. So yeah, that allows game for automation will help us create digital twins. But we will look more at that tomorrow. Jaunty little tune.
The best for the audio.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so that's enough talking for now. So because we're not allowed to have any drinks or anything in the lab, we go and have a coffee now. Go and get a coffee now for 10 minutes. Come back up. We'll watch some demo videos of previous year's apps, and then we'll go downstairs. Okay, so back in 10 minutes or so, please.
When I was in South Korea for Christmas, they did this. And it kind of looks like that thing. It's all projected. Kind of looks like that.
I've done like the globe in Las Vegas. We've seen that.
I don't know whatever Slack that was.
No, I'm good. Right.
Yeah, it's still
Did they know that you were there? Or did they- So you didn't follow up on you for somebody?
We investigated about it,
Yeah,
that might have taken a while.
yeah,
Somewhere else.
yeah.